like to welcome everybody to the 2025 Fredonia High School track season. This is your parent meeting video that you get to watch. So with that said, my name is Dee Barnett. I'd like to go ahead and get started. Here's your table of contents that we're going to go through this video. As you can see, we're going to talk about our team, our coaches. Then we'll go through some dates for our track meets that are upcoming, communication, our practices, the expectations of our athletes, and then behavior at our meets, and the expectations we have there as well. So with that said, our team, here are the coaches and the events that they focus on. Like I said, my name's Dee Barnett. I'm the head coach for both the boys and the girls. My specific events that I focus on are the 400 and the 800 meters, sprinters and relays, as well as pole vault and hurdles. Then Mr. Clausen, Coach Clausen, he is one of our two assistants we have. He does the long distance runs, as well as focused on the long jump, triple jump, and high jump. Myra Barnett is our other assistant coach. She is our throwers coach, so she'll be primarily focusing on discus, javelin, and shot put. You'll see Coach Boss and Coach Woodall, their names down there at the bottom. We actually have only a total of 5 coaches for both our high school and middle school combined. So we help out with all the athletes. So while I am the high school coach, as well as Coach Clausen and Coach Barnett, we all help each other out, just like Coach Woodall will help out the high school kids as well as the junior high, and Coach Boss with those events and athletes as well. If you have any questions, as I said, or as I will state later on, you can go ahead and contact me for any questions you may have. Dates for upcoming track meets and times, you will see on the next 2 slides. I have them listed here by dates and the start times that we currently have. Now, I would like to state that these times are subject to change. And if these do change, then what we will do is we will go ahead and we will inform you as quick as possible and let you know if there's any start times that were moved up, moved back, or any change of dates as well. As you can see, when we get into May, things are going pretty fast. The ones to focus on down there are the 23rd and the 30th and 31st. Those are our regional and state meets. We'll talk more about those as we get through the slides, but that kind of gives you an idea where we are at currently with those dates and times. Communication. Due to multiple factors that could result with changes, and again, like weather or time frames that have to be moved up or moved back, or any changes in practices and things like that, we will be using the Rooms app. As you know, you've probably gotten several text messages and alerts and those type things from the school. So we'll need you to sign up to be able to do that, to get those alerts, as well as your athletes. And you'll want to make sure you turn your notifications on for that. So if there's any changes, those pop up for you so that you can know those changes that take place. Right there at the very bottom of this, say reach out to Coach Barnett at least 24 hours before missing a practice. Just communicate as far as that goes. If you're going to be gone to a doctor's appointment, school activity, anything else like that, please let me know so that I know where you're at, anything that's taking place that way. So I'm not wondering where you're at on the day of practice, or when we're filling out things for meets and events, that I don't put your name in there if for some reason you are not going to be there. Practices. Our practice schedule daily runs from 3:40 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, these again are subject to change. Now, with that said, there are going to be some nights where the athletes do get out a little bit earlier. It may be 5:15, 5:30. Maybe one of those where the workout maybe was just a little bit shorter than normal. We'll tell you that on field event days, when we go through those, they tend to be a little shorter because that's our main focus that day. So if a thrower gets done, all they do is they throw. Maybe they throw the shot, the disc, and the jab, and they get all their work in. They may be done a little bit earlier. And we do put 6 o'clock on there just because some nights do run a little bit longer depending on the workout. So we have to be flexible with that. The athletes have to be flexible. Parents, I know you've got jobs and you've got to be flexible on some of those things as well. But please just understand that some nights your athlete may get done a little earlier than 6 p.m., which is not a problem. We may even notice as we get later into the season that we're going to need a little bit more recovery time. And so we don't want to wear them down or run them ragged. And they may get out, like I said, 5:15, 5:30 p.m. expectations for the athletes. And these have already been communicated to the kids, but I'm going to reiterate this as well for parents. So when you're going through this, there are no surprises. Pardon me. As far as practices go, we expect you to be on time. We want you to be grateful and be great communicators. Those are three things that you can control. And those are three big things that will take you pretty far in life, no matter what they are. So, again, we just ask that you be on time, that you're grateful for being there, because not everybody gets to do this. And this is something that is not necessarily a right, it's a privilege. So be grateful that you're out there. And then be great communicators like we talked about. If you're going to be gone, please just let us know ahead of time and make sure that we know where you are. So we're not wondering and trying to figure out who's what or who's where and why they're not there that day. As far as dress goes for practices and meets, appropriate clothing. I don't think I really need to go any farther on that. If it's questionable, if you're not sure if you can wear it or not, then you probably can't. We do ask that you wear shorts, t-shirts, sweats, hoodies. You have running shoes. Some events will need spikes. If you have a question about that, please ask myself or any of the other coaches. We tell you to dress in layers this time of year because some days are going to be really, really nice, 70, 75 degrees and beautiful outside. The next day, it could be really, really cold and windy. So always come prepared. It's better to have the extra warm clothes and not use them than it is to not have them at all. As far as attendance goes, practices are mandatory. Um, why is that? Well, if you want to be able to perform in the meet and you want to perform at your best, you need to be there. You cannot miss a practice and expect to compete in meets and or perform at your best. It's just not going to happen. If you can be there consistently the whole time and get better each and every day of practice, then probably going to get better each and every time in a meet as well. Behavior. The way I like to state it is just don't do anything that would embarrass yourself, your school, your family, your community. We want to be the standard. We want to be the team that others see and like, man, those kids are very well behaved. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. They work hard. Notice I didn't say anything about coming in first, second, or third. Those things will all fall into place if we can take care of ourselves and control our effort and our attitude and be the best possible versions. And we never want to walk out of a meet, be in the school, the athletes, the coaches, the parents that other places have problems with or they talk about and in a negative manner. We all know that we've had some negative interactions throughout our years with athletics and some of those things, and we don't want to be that school. We want to be the standard. We want to be the best possible representation of our school, of our individuals, of our family, and our community as well. Meets. Eligibility is going to be a big thing. If you're not eligible, you can't compete. And that does kind of hinder stuff as far as entering you and things like that. And so you need to make sure you're eligible. It's pretty cut and dry there. Just take care of your stuff in the classroom. If you can do that, then there's not going to be problems. As far as the meets go, yes, track is an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. We get awarded team points, and we want you to be there to support one another, no matter what's going on. Some of you will only be runners. That means you can go around support your teammates at the field events. Some of you will only be throwers. You can go support your teammates during their running events, those type things. That is huge. We want that culture to be a positive culture and one of togetherness. It's yes, we're competing with against each other, pardon me, to try and get a spot in each one of those events, but we also want to support one another when we're there. And if you notice there on that last line, I put it focus on getting better, not the end result. I'm big on focusing on the process. If you focus too much on the end result, that can lead to some negative things. But if you focus on the process and you focus on getting better each and every day, whether it's in practice or in the meets, trying to get your time down, trying to get a little bit farther on the throw, what are those things that you need to do to be successful to get just a little bit better? Focus on those steps. Don't focus on, man, I didn't get first, second, third, or I didn't place or anything else like that. Just focus on the process, on the steps it's going to take for you to get better, to do a little bit better today than what you did yesterday. Practices down there. When we practice, we want to practice to prepare. We want to practice to be great. We don't want to just practice just to get by and just get through the workout or just do it. We want to practice to dominate and to get better. We want to separate ourselves, separate yourself from the competition. And if you can have that focus each and every day on getting better, of preparing for the next meet, of not just getting by, but trying to be great and dominate in anything and everything you do. Those are habits that are going to take you a long, long ways in life. Sports is just one big metaphor for life. That's all it is. And if you can get better and have discipline in your sport, no matter what it is, whether it's track or any other sport that you compete in, then guess what? You're going to go pretty far in life because those are great, great habits to develop as you go. That last line, like it says, if you didn't practice with a purpose, then you wasted a day. And champions don't waste days. And you never want to waste a day in your life. You want to go ahead and be the best version of what you can be that day and try to get a little bit better, like I keep saying. And it's going to take you a really, really long ways, not just in track this year, but in your life as a whole. Meet behavior and expectations. Grades, like I already talked about, if you don't pass, you can't compete. And that also means you cannot travel. Part of the great thing about track is you get out of school early. You get to leave a little bit early. It's kind of a cool deal. Hang out with your friends. And yes, you get to go compete, but it's some pretty good times as well. But if you're not eligible, you don't get to go. Be at practice every day. I mean, you've got to be there in order for me to put you in an event. So you can't just think that you don't practice or again, your grades aren't where they need to be, and you're just going to get to practice. It's not the way it's going to work. You want to try to be the top four in your event. Granted, we have only three participants in the majority of the meets we go to. There are some meets that sometimes it's only two because the standards are so high to get in those events. And the meets are pretty big or really tough. But if you can get in the top four, that puts you kind of right there and gives you a chance to put yourself in those top three as well. Now, an athlete can only compete in a total of four events each meet. Some of you will compete in only three. Some of you may max out and we'll have you compete in all four. We're always looking to try and fulfill those events as much as we possibly can to give ourselves the best chance to do really well at those meets, but we also want you to compete and test yourself and expand yourself. And maybe you find something that, hey, I'm not great at yet, but if I can keep practicing, if I can get into an event and do it, then maybe that becomes your thing later on down the road. Remember, if you don't make a certain event one week, that doesn't mean that you can't earn a spot in the next meet. There's always that chance for you to move up. There's always that chance to say, hey, I want to try for that relay, or hey, I'd like to challenge for that spot in the 800-meter race, or whatever it may be. You always have that option. So just because you didn't make it one week doesn't mean you can't make it the next week and that you can't earn that spot. So please keep that in mind. As we go from meet to meet and just make sure that you're doing your best and trying to get better and be the best version of yourself. Don't worry about the end result. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Just keep on focusing on getting better as you go. Participants will be the only ones that travel with us. Again, if you're not eligible, if you're not competing that day, you probably won't go with us just because it's one less person that we have to try to fill in the bus, number one. Number two, you need to be in school then in that case and make sure you're taking care of your grades and stuff like that. All right. We do believe that track is a foundation for all sports. It helps you out in everything. And with that said, if there's somebody that's not out for track just yet, hey, we'll still take them. Have them come find me or come find Coach Clausen or Coach Barnett and we'll talk and we'll see if we can't get you out there on those. All right. The last one there, you have to qualify for regionals and state. In regionals, there are certain standards and times that you have to be able to meet. So if you don't throw far enough for the regional standards that meet, then you won't get into regionals. If you don't run a certain time, then you will not get into regionals in that case. And we'll have more information on that as we get a little bit closer, but just give everybody a heads up on that. Continuing with the expectations and behaviors. Again, athlete expectations, we've already covered that a little bit, so go see that previous slide. Please be sure to bring food and water with you. You want to stay hydrated. You want to stay fed, and track meets can get long. So bring snacks, bring meal to be able to eat because they do get really, really long, and you don't want to be having to maybe go to the concession stand every time. Pack a lunch, pack a good food that's going to help you out and be able to help you to perform at your best. As far as competitions go and your events, you do not want to miss your event. No, when you compete, we will have the schedule out. We will send that out to you. Everyone will have that, parents, athletes included. You'll know what time field events start. You'll know what time the running events start, all those things. And we can't always be around to come and find you and remind you. We're spread pretty thin. And normally with only three coaches going to a meet, we're going to be all over the place trying to watch our athletes perform wherever they may be. And we're not going to be able to say, hey, Joey, you need to go get warmed up because your race is coming up. Or, hey, why didn't you go check in a javelin? Whatever it may be. That's going to be your responsibility to be alert and know what's going on. Do not miss an event without coach's permission. Okay. That will result in some consequences. We don't want to do that. You don't just take yourself out of an event. You need to talk to coaches first about that. And it's going to have to be a really darn good reason, an injury of some sort. Maybe you're not feeling great, sickness wise, you haven't been doing well, and we decide we're going to pull you out of that type thing. So you've got to make sure you communicate that with us and come talk to us. And we may or may not let you out. If it's just one of those things, you're like, I'm just nervous about it, or I don't know if I'll do very well. Well, let's go find out. That's the whole point of competing. Go out and try and get a little bit better. It's not about, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like competing today. I just don't feel good, or, oh man, I might get smoked. Don't worry about that stuff. You're not out there comparing yourself to anybody else. You're trying to get better for you. And if you can do that, all those other things will take place and you will not get smoked. You will be just fine and you will get better. Compete, 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 compete. That's what life is about. It's about competing. You're going to face that your entire life as you go. And that's what these track meets are. That's what athletics are. Again, one big metaphor for life, competing to try to be a little bit better today than what you were last time. And that's what we want you to do. So just go out and compete and have fun. Track meets are fun. You get to hang out with your buddies, you get to hang out with your team, you get to see some pretty cool races and some pretty cool athletes and things that go on around there. But you're going to create a lot of memories just in the track meets themselves and the bus rides and things like that. Okay. When you're not competing, you need to kind of remain in the designated campsite and maybe down on the grass, maybe in the stands, depending on where we're at, but be with them. We don't want you roaming around, going different places, not knowing where you're at, that type of thing. We've got to trust you to do the right thing. But with that said, if you're not competing or you're not supporting a teammate in a certain event, then you need to be with the rest of the team. Again, maybe on the ground underneath the tent, maybe in the stands that day, it just depends on where we're at and what we're doing. We will pick up all of our trash. We're going to leave the area better than what we found it. Make sure that we do all those things. Again, that goes back to we want to be the standard. So we're not going to leave a site and not pick up after ourselves and do the things that we need to do and control the things that we can control. And picking up trash and making sure things are clean and better than what we found it when we leave is one of those things that we can do. Pay close attention to the weather. Bring blankets, gloves, hats, coats, whatever else is necessary. Don't be the kid that shows up in only a hoodie and shorts. That's probably not going to end well for you, especially early in these meets. It's going to be really, really cold at times, and you need to be prepared. So when we tell you those things, or when you look at the weather apps, whatever else, please make sure you're prepared that way. As far as transportation home goes, we encourage you to ride the bus home with your team. Those are some of the best of times. Those are the bus rides are when you make a lot of memories. Ask any former athlete that was on any type of team. A lot of times that was it, was those bus rides, just hanging out, talking, being with your buddies. Now, with that said, parents, if you absolutely want to take your athlete home, we can't necessarily stop you from doing that. We are going to ask you that all the athletes that are going to stay until the conclusion of the meet, because we want you to support your teammates. We don't want anybody just going and, hey, I'm done with my field events. I don't run. I'm going home. That's not what this is about. So the athletes will stay until the completion of the meet. And then at that point in time, that if parents decide they want to take them home, then we'll just need verbal communication with that as far as that goes and be able to see you before you take your athlete. That's the end of the slide. If there's anything else that comes up, then I will be sure to communicate that with you moving forward. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that you would like to bring up to me that you're not sure on, maybe I didn't make something clear, then please go ahead and contact me and ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page and that we get that done. And with that said, thank you for attending this meeting. We're looking forward to a great track season this year in 2025. And again, make sure you sign up for the rooms on the communication part, and we will talk with you later. Thank you.